It is Thursday, the 23rd of May, 2024, and this is your intelligence briefing coming to you from Protestia.com. Go to Protestia for all of your latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. Support us financially at patreon.com/Protestia and sign up for the Insurgency email list. There is a link on the website. Let's get into the headlines. We just have a few for today's intelligence briefing. First, IHOP KC, that's the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, church hosts final service following Mike Bickle's sex scandal and is closing forever, according to reports. The International House of Prayer's Kansas City church held its final service last week in Grandview, a conclusion and natural consequence of the sprawling sex abuse scandal brought on by founder and disgraced prophet Mike Bickle. Bickle was uncovered to be one of the most manipulative, creepy, and pervy quote-unquote prophets of the past 50 years, causing his vaunted ministry to implode. Forerunner Church Senior Pastor Isaac Bennett led the service, which was packed to the brim with members and ministry partners, exchanging farewells and teary goodbyes to each other, mourning the loss. Bickle was not present. This is a quote from Isaac Bennett saying, "This morning our heart is really just to express gratitude to the Lord, gratitude toward those who have served and have been a part of the community over the years. There's no easy way to do this. I recognize this has been a very painful season. I'm so sorry for the pain and difficulty that you've been through. No easy way to do this. How do you bring a close to something like this? The Forerunner Church." And Forerunner Church, I believe, is an IHOP satellite church or franchise church, or however you want to describe it. Bennett shared that closing various ministries across the IHOP missions base, including Forerunner, is not something they expected to do, but it needed to happen so they could have a fresh start. While Forerunner Church no longer exists, it is almost certain that the leadership will take a few months over the summer to plan and plot out and then announce a new church wholly separate from IHOP KC. The 24/7 prayer room, which has been operating for decades and has been a staple of the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, will continue over the summer, though it is still being determined what will happen in the fall. Next headline at Protestia: the Church of Micah Miller's disgraced pastor husband has $5.9 million in assets, including a private plane, but only 30 worshipers last Sunday. This coming to us from the Daily Mail. The church set up by Micah Miller's disgraced pastor husband has a total value of properties worth at least $5.59 million. I think it's $5.9 million, actually. DailyMail.com can reveal, and it has its own plane, a $430,000 four-seater, supposedly to be used for missionary work, but which flight records show has only made 2 trips all year. Scrutiny has been mounting on Solid Rock Ministries in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, after it was revealed that church leaders plan to allow John Paul Miller back into the pulpit following allegations of sexual encounters with underage girls. This was after his wife, I guess, I don't know if they were officially divorced or if it was in proceedings, Micah Miller committed suicide, and he bizarrely announced this to the church. The Sunday morning service, a couple days, I guess, after she had done so, we put up a video on Protestia's X and an article featuring it, but there's a link in our article here going to the Daily Mail article for the additional details. Finally, one last headline: LGBT-CRU leaked CRU training materials prove CRU is teaching gay Christianity. CRU, formerly Campus Crusade for Christ, has been subjecting its staff to nearly 7 hours of video materials promoting SSA, or as we know it, same-sex attraction side B Christianity, promoting patently unbiblical and damaging views on gender, sex, sin, and marriage, as evidenced by CRU curriculum that recently leaked online. CRU's LGBTQ accepting Training materials feature Revoice heretic Preston Sprinkle and, quote, mixed orientation marriage Rachel Gilson, telling Cru staffers that God is powerless over homosexual attraction, comparisons between the church's supposed bad treatment of the LGBTQ community and Nazi treatment of gays, and full acceptance of homosexual and transgender as cultures needing gospel contextualization like any other ethnicity. The training materials, and there is almost 7 hours worth. I don't think that the materials are produced by Cru specifically. They might be produced by Preston Sprinkle and his cohort of of problem heretics. I think it's produced by them, but Cru has purchased the material. They're using it. They're putting their people through it, and it is just a hot mess in terms of its false teaching on creation, on gender roles, on evangelism, on epistemology. You go down the line and name it. It's every bit as bad as it sounds. We have at the bottom of this article, a montage that has been passed around among some discernment and polemics ministries to see some of the worst of it. I have no doubt that the entire 7 hours worth of training will be available somewhere, somehow on the internet, if you really want to punish yourself, or if you want to train the powers of your discernment with constant practice by going over some pretty bad stuff. You can go over to protestia.com to read more about this. I know that John Harris of Conversations That Matter has done an extensive deep dive into these clips and perhaps some others. Evangelical Dark Web has released some stuff on this. And, and famously, this was Rosaria Butterfield. This was, November 10th, 2023. She calls this out in front of Liberty University's students at their convocation.
Have you ever heard that same-sex attraction is a sinless temptation and only a sin if you act on it? Or that people who experience same-sex attraction are actually gay Christians called to lifelong celibacy? Or that people who experience same-sex attraction rarely, if ever, change and therefore should never pursue heterosexual marriage? Or that sex and gender are different and that God doesn't care about whether men live as men and women live as women, because all you need to do is grow in the fruit of the Spirit, as though the fruit of the Holy Spirit can grow from sin. I have heard all of these lies, and just in the last year, from Christian ministries. And this is where I name names, and I'm an English professor, so I call this citing my sources. Revoice, Preston Sprinkle's Exiles in Babylon conference, sponsored by his heretical Center for Faith, Sexuality, and Gender, and Cru. I got the receipts, people. And I have believed these lies too, and not only as a Christian, and I have repented publicly as a Christian in my book, to you, in articles, and these people can do the same.
Yeah, that couldn't be more true. And now the receipts are incontrovertible, undeniable, and we would encourage you to tell anybody that doesn't know what's going on, anybody that still thinks that Cru is a solid organization that is practicing and promoting true biblical evangelism, that it is not anymore. And yeah, we'll continue to talk about it. Like I said, there are other resources online that will also set you up knowing these things and get you into the details of kind of what's going on, so that you can be empowered to tell other people that it's a dangerous thing at this point. It's a dangerous organization. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Intelligence Briefing for the 23rd of May, 2024. Stay tuned to Protesti for all of your latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. We'll see you again next time. As always, Semper Reformanda.